Shout out to my new subscribers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Like, share, subscribe, hit that like button. It really helps the channel to grow. And I appreciate y'all. Thank you so, so much. Okay. What up, though, YouTube? All right, we getting into today before I go to the second job. Um, Shifty Adam Schiff, most corrupt senator. You know, he was involved with the Russia Gate with Hillary Clinton and James Comey, who James Comey has just been indicted for the Russia Gate hoax. And Adam Schiff has done mortgage fraud as well, along with Letitia James. So expect his indictment coming soon. Trump ain't playing with the people. He not playing with people. So they just had Pam Bondi before the Senate, and they got into a heated thing. And Pam Bondi told him, "You have been fired. Had you?" AG Bondi senatorship flash over home and 50K bribe claims. A fire exchange erupted during the Attorney General Pam Bondi's testimony before the Senate Judiciary Panel when Adam Schiff grilled her over claims that former ICE director accepted $50,000 bribe. He not the wow. Bondi fired back, accusing Schiff of twisting facts and politicizing probe. Wow. So let me see if I can see.
Because they were required to take unethical actions on us, or feared that they would have to take such actions if they remained on the job. When over 1,000 former federal prosecutors have sounded the alarm about the unprecedented degree to which the powers of DOJ are being abused to go after the president's enemies. I approach hearing with a heavy heart. As a former federal prosecutor myself, I served in a department that, whether it was under a Democratic or Republican president, would...
You the most, man, you have been brought out many, many times. You are awful. Ain't that what he's saying?
Use the office to go after the president's enemies or to hide the corruption of his friends. The Justice Department has been used to cover up the possible corruption of the mayor of New York, or of a high $50,000 reportedly in cash in a bag, or a child sex predator who befriended the president and some of his cabinet members. And instead of preventing partisan weaponization, your department has engaged in a brazenly political prosecution at the president's explicit direction. The department has become President Trump's personal sword and shield to go after his ever-growing list of political enemies to protect themselves and allies.
As you did the same shit under Biden. You did the same thing. Same thing. There's no difference. And you will still be taking bribes.
My questions therefore focus on these two themes: hiding the corrupt acts of his friends and prioritizing the political prosecution of his enemies. So let me start with the shocking allegations of bribery and paid play. 2 weeks ago, 4 major media outlets reported that Tom Homan, the president's top deportation official working at the White House, took $50,000 in cash in a bag from undercover FBI agents in September 2024, just over a year ago. According to these reports, Homan indicated he would facilitate securing contracts in exchange for money once he was in office in a future Trump administration. Reportedly, this exchange was caught on tape. Rather than pursue this investigation without fear or favor, the department and the FBI under your leadership, or that of your predecessor before you confirmed, quietly shut it down. Once news broke, your deputy and FBI director issued a joint public statement confirming the Trump administration closed the investigation. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt denied Holman the $50,000, telling a reporter, quote, "Mr. Holman never took the $50,000 that you're referring to. You should get your facts straight." So today, I hope you can help us get our facts straight. True what the White House press secretary said when she denied Holman took the money. Did he take the money?
Senator Schiff, as I stated earlier, I was not in office. I was not confirmed when that was. Deputy Attorney General Blanche and Director Patel said that there was no evidence that Holman crime. Yet now you're putting his picture up to slander him.
No, I'm putting his picture up, showing an interview he gave with, I think, Fox, in which he was asked explicitly about these allegations. He took a $50,000 bribe, and he refused to answer. He said he didn't. He asked you the question: did he take the money?
Senator Schiff, I answered that question multiple times, and frankly,
Well, I don't think, with respect, I don't think you did. But in case I just didn't hear you, what is the answer? Did he take the money?
Senator Schiff, that happened prior to my confirmation as Attorney General. I said that.
Do you know, sitting here,
all I know is that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and FBI Director Patel said there was no case. And Caroline Leavitt is one of the trustworthy human beings I know.
So
and,
was she?
For me, you would have been fired because you were censured Congress for lying.
You can stipulate to, you can all your personal attacks on the Democratic members of the committee.
Personal attacks? You've been attacking the FBI director. You've my office. You've been attacking.
What we're interested in,
we're
interested in is the answer to the oversight questions. So
you
were asked by my colleague.
Attacking good people.
Regular order, Madam Chair, so I can ask a question. You were asked by my colleague from Vermont whether you will support providing a video that exists of Mr. Holman taking $50,000 in bribe money from the FBI. Will you support a request by this committee to provide that tapes to the committee? Yeah.
Senator Schiff, you can talk to Director Patel about that.
Well, I'm talking to you about it. You're the Attorney General. This will be your decision. Will you support?
You don't have to tell me what is my decision, what is not my decision. I said
you don't have to. You don't have to try to.
You think you've got a gotcha with Tom Holman, our board star,
excuse me.
who's been out there
excuse me.
countries Trump took office.
Regular order, please. And you don't have to defer to the FBI director to pass the buck. So I'm asking you, will you support a request so that the committee, or indeed I believe the American people, should be able to see that video or audio tape? Will you support that request?
Will you apologize to Donald Trump?
So I guess the answer is you won't support that
after
request.
You now know that Joe Biden tried to cover up Hunter Biden's involvement with Ukraine.
Let me do this because
I can't stand him. I cannot stand him. He is awful.
That the American people get a sense of
No, the American people don't like your ass. So that was 3 days ago. They definitely clashed. Yesterday, U.S. Senator and member of Senate Judiciary joined MSNBC, what do Trump call it, MSDNC, to discuss question of attorney Pam Bondi. Schiff called out Bondi's continued refusal to answer key questions throughout the hearing. Schiff also highlighted his pressing questions about the abuses of the DOJ to cover up corruption and the attempts by the departments to go after the president's enemies. Same shit Biden did, right? He said, I think she really had two objectives today. One was to continue to cover up, and the other was to deflect any questions about weaponization of the department under her leadership by using these canned attacks on various senators with the basic object of pleasing the angry old man down the street, the only audience that matters to her. Well, that's his boss. So she rips Adam Schiff as a failed lawyer and prosecutor, which he was, after he lists all the questions she refused to answer. At one point during the exchange, Bondi attacked Schiff while dodging his questions. Will you apologize to Donald Trump for trying to impeach him after you now know that Joe Biden tried to cover up Hunter Biden's laptop and involvement with Ukraine? Schiff replied, excuse me, let me do this because I think it's valuable that the American people get a sense of what you refuse to answer today. He went on to list various questions. So these are just some questions you refuse to answer. You consulted with career ethics lawyers as you promised you would do during your nomination hearing when you approved the president receiving a $400 million gift from Qatar. You refused to answer that question. And he leaving it there in the White House. He's not taking it with him. You were asked who or what role you may have played or who played the role in asking Trump's name be flagged in any Epstein documents gathered by the FBI. You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether Holman kept the $50,000 bribe. That happened in 2024 before Trump and before she was in office. Patel said it wasn't nothing in there. So, that seems to be the up-to-date news of the latest with Adam Schiff. But this is an article, what Letitia James and Adam Schiff could take from Jane Comey's indictment. Former FBI James Comey pleaded not guilty on Wednesday to 2 federal crimes of in Virginia, charged him with last month. Comey now waits trial January 5th in the Eastern District of Virginia. I'm gonna have to watch that trial. I'm gonna have to. What did she say? Hey, somebody else died. So Schiff calls for probe into who knew about Trump's moves. Senator Adam called for Congress to launch an investigation into who may have known about Trump's tariff moves in advance and perhaps benefited from the drastic market shifts. I think Congress, as much insider trading as y'all corrupt senators do, that's a lot of damn nerve. Especially Nancy Pelosi. Y'all make $174,000, but Nancy worth $200 million. Elizabeth Warren worth millions. Jasmine Crockett worth $9 million. What the hell going on? Check your own people. I think Congress should do an investigation into this, but we're going to demand answers from the administration. They're likely to stonewall, particularly if they've been engaged in corrupt insider trading the way you guys have been. I just read that. Excuse me. Adam Schiff visited Epstein Island 78 times. 78 times. Talk about that, bitch. Talk about the fact you visited 78 times. I'm trying to get to this. Where's Adam? Oh, Lord. I'm going to type it in. Oh, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Democratic Senator Adam Schiff is absolutely sweating bullets right now. You see, just the other day, President Trump issued an order that purged almost all of the FBI's leadership, as well as many of the corrupt FBI personnel that acted in accordance with Biden's weaponization of the justice system. And as you all might remember, Senator Adam Schiff was a big part of that. And so right this very moment, pretty much everyone on the left is losing their mind.
Trump forced out all
I'm going to tell them
of
to
the
give me my
FBI's
money
most
back.
senior executives and multiple heads of various FBI field offices across the country, according to current and former FBI officials who spoke with NBC News. This is hostile takeover of federal law enforcement. There's no other way, including high-profile of the Washington, D.C. field office, who involved in prosecutions of President Donald Trump. The Department of Justice also fired multiple federal prosecutors who conducted the criminal and January 6 rioters, according to sources.
And so keep in mind, the very same January 6 rioters that were held for 4 years with no charges and without due process. The
Facts.
very same people that Donald Trump just pardoned.
Facts.
And so right now, Senator Adam Schiff isn't exactly happy. As he posted on X just yesterday, FBI Director nominee Kash Patel promised no retribution. The next day, we have this grotesque purge at the 1,550 pardons overnight. Their confirmation commitments mean nothing. And so why is Senator Adam Shiftty Schiff so upset about all of this? Well, as many of you might remember, he was on the very corrupt January 6 House Select Committee. In fact, that tyrant did this. Donald Trump, dozens of prosecutors, the D.C. Attorney's Office, and agents of the FBI. Another Friday night massacre as the president removes those loyal to the Constitution, calls those loyal to him.
That's a
Yeah,
lie.
because President Trump is some evil dictator, right? Or maybe he's just cutting out all of the corruption that has spread through the FBI over the last few
Facts.
years.
I'm trying to
In
edit
fact,
this.
take a look at this.
They targeting all of the FBI agents who were involved in any of the cases brought against January 6th rioters. And to put this in perspective, the January 6th cases make up the largest single investigation ever in the history of the Bureau. The January 6th cases are the largest case load ever assembled by the Department of Justice. That's kind of the whole FBI. I mean, not every single member of the FBI, but certainly.
I can't stand Rachel Maddow. I used
That's
her.
pretty much what all of this seems about. Keep in mind, the very same FBI that concocted focus in order to get to Trump's house at Mar-a-Lago,
Facts.
spied on the 2016 presidential campaign in the direction of Barack Obama, to down anyone even loosely involved with January 6th. Hey, I don't know how anyone can even try to deny that there are highly corrupt, deep partisan actors outside of the. But also, guys, I want to say real fast, if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really does a lot.
That is
Okay,
Matt
so what
Morse.
does all of this stuff really mean?
impact, Kate. This is probably the biggest purge in the modern history of the FBI, and we're talking about most of the senior leadership at the bureau, even those 6 executive assistant directors. They're like the top supervisor on the floor and here in headquarters at Washington, D.C. But today we're learning that as many as 20 or more special agents in charge of various field offices around the country have also been removed from their posts.
So have you guys heard the phrase, the fish rots from the head down? Well, guess what? Seems to be the case here. What seems to be happening is that Trump has identified leadership within the FBI that has been complicit in the weaponization of the justice system, as well as
Facts.
various other low-level
Facts. I wish you be quiet. Oh, good. We don't have that many. Now this is new. This is Dan Bongino, one of the most.
No wonder Democrats were so scared of Kash Patel being nominated as FBI director.
President Donald Trump, Secret Service agent and political commentator Dan Bongino, director of the FBI.
Great news for law enforcement, American justice. Dan Bongino, a man of incredible love and passion for our company, named the next deputy director of the FBI by the man to be the best ever director of the FBI, Kash Patel.
He pointed to Bongino's service under former Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama. Bongino also worked in the New York Police Department and hosts his own podcast, The Dan Bongino Show. Bongino thanked the president and FBI director Kash Patel in a brief post.
Hold up though, because it gets even better.
Also following big changes for federal law enforcement agencies, newly sworn-in FBI Director Kash Patel will reportedly take over as acting director of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives this week. Patel also plans to relocate roughly 1,500 FBI staffers in Washington, D.C. to field offices around the country, including fired to Huntsville, Alabama.
Apparently, the ATF director will hold over.
This comes as U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi fired the chief legal counsel for the ATF, Pamela Hicks. Hicks served in that role under the Biden administration and was deputy chief counsel of agency during President Donald Trump's first administration.
Damn, Bondi, Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, Dan Bongino, Schiff, Chuck Schumer were losing freaking minds.
Yes.
Today, the Senate is on track to confirm Kash Patel as director of the FBI. Think about that statement for a moment. Kash Patel, conspiracy theorist, January 6 denier, MAGA sycophant, and political provocateur, the FBI director.
These actions have political retribution written all over them, and it'll get worse if Kash Patel is named FBI director.
The absurdity of it.
The Senate should not rubber stamp a patently partisan nominee, Kash Patel.
The destructive consequences of it.
I joined the Senate Democrats on the Judiciary Committee. I am demanding a set hearing of Mr. Patel.
Worth asking today, how did get here? This political hack does not deserve to be in this building. He won't protect the public. He will misuse the resources of the Bureau. He will weaponize the president's political opponents rather than to protect the safety, the public safety.
That's
of
a
the
lie.
American people.
All lies.
We will vote no. Our Republican colleagues.
The irony of Adam Schiff calling anyone else on this planet political hack.
Right.
What
Right.
they're really scared about is Dan Bongino, the new deputy FBI director, working under Kash Patel, government gangsters in 2017.
Adam Schiff is the snake. He's the biggest fraud on Capitol Hill right now. Adam Schiff is doing the Democrats' dirty work in trying to cover up. Here's the problem, Steve. I don't have this any more candidly. The Obama team spied on the Trump team. The liberals have married themselves to years to this facade that they're civil liberties advocates. That's gone now. That is completely gone. They will be police state advocates from this point on when the public learns the true story of the extent of the Obama team spying on the Trump team, and it will decimate the liberal brand forever.
Facts.
And Schiff's the one who's been sent out there
Facts.
to try and deceive in order to try and save this. They can't. Remember, guys, there are court scripts. The Democrats can't run from this. There's no plausible deniability.
And during the campaign, with all those attempts on Trump's life, he was putting 2 and 2 together.
Mr. Bongino, in your opinion, is the Secret Service
in a better spot with Director Rowe in charge?
No, it's worse, and sadly, I'm glad this is all being recorded, because when something else happens, and I hope it doesn't, I pray to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that I'm wrong. That you play this and go, look, that guy was crazy. You think this is the last incident, you're out of your mind. We've seen these incidents over and over. We saw the Georgia incident with President Bush, the magnetometers, the Secret Service leadership in charge now with the exact same people. Exact same. Can you imagine? That a company that makes widgets. We find out that there's
Come on, he went off. I watched that whole thing. He went off. Anybody I hope that they get Schiff out of office and that damn Schumer. Y'all too old. Get the hell on out of there. What are you doing? Oh yeah, I forgot y'all corrupt.
Welcome back. Leadership in the House considering a vote later this morning on the Senate budget framework for President Trump's big, beautiful bill. House Speaker Mike Johnson delayed the vote after the GOP rebels refused to support the legislation over not enough spending cuts. Speaker Johnson and Wisconsin Congressman Derek Van Orden reacting yesterday.
There's a very good, healthy spirit of cooperation and discussion, and I'm very optimistic that we are going to get this job done. And for all those in the media who doubt us, you continue to doubt us, and we continue to deliver, and we will again.
There's a small group, once again, in the Republican conference that they got 77 million votes, and that they're the president of the United States. They're not. So the group of people that are holding up this bill are not doing this for ideological purposes. So absolutely baloney, and they need to get on board.
Texas Congressman Chip Roy, meanwhile, said the Senate's baseline of $4 billion cuts is not enough. He wrote this on X. Don't the media use a stock ticker like the coronavirus cases ticker? Don't bet against the USA. Now Congress must be bold and constrain spending. Debt and deficits are a curse from the swamp that must be vanquished. If we do that, true prosperity lies ahead, writes Congressman. Joining me now is Iowa Congresswoman Ashley Hinson, a member of the House Appropriations Committee. Congresswoman, how do you see things?
Well, Marie, practically speaking, when you look at the spending during COVID, the Democrats had this $7 trillion boondoggle. And I understand the issues of $36 trillion in debt, and we need to have as much spending cuts as possible, like the House bill has put. Realize $1.5 trillion in cuts. However,
I'm trying to get to the Adam Schiff part.
Chosen to take insider trading charges out of the air and making these serious and says he's to escape. The
Here it is. I'm supposed to get this.
Cashing in for people in the White House and
hours before President announced the pause, Trump posted this on Truth Social. Everyone, this is a great time to buy. And of course, the president has been saying that from the get-go, saying shouldn't have a period of disruption. But
facts. And Nancy Pelosi, Jasmine Crockett, Elizabeth Warren, Schiff have been doing insider trade. They are worth millions. Nancy Pelosi, $200 million. How? And you make $174,000 a year. Jasmine Crockett, $9 million. How? Elizabeth Warren, $30 million. Elon Omar from Somalia, that bitch. She worth $30 million. How? On 170, because you all have participated in insider trading, and that's just a fact. I hope they get them the hell up out of there, for real, for real.
Adam Schiff brings McShifties. This is a story that is
this is
talked about enough.
Viva Free.
Just did a video on it. Nate the Great Brody, Nate the lawyer, one of the fine friends that I've met through this internet venture, and I see all the infinity of the friends that I've lost because of my politics. Talking here, exactly. I lost a bunch of
the Schiff, he's among the worst people.
He
on earth.
is.
And I was listening to Amanda Knox on Joe Rogan today. I would love to have an interview with Amanda Knox because her story is absolutely amazing. And she was talking about radical forgiveness, or at least Rogan was, you know, how Amanda Knox has come to not necessarily forgive, but live with that Italian
Okay, let's
prosecutor
get
did her
to
by trying to lock up a person of property and life and freedom. And there is nothing worse than stealing someone's freedom. This story is old, but I think it needs to be made new again. Adam Schiff for Brains McSchiff allegedly committed the exact same type of mortgage fraud that Leticia James did. By
Facts.
claiming as a primary residence, multiple primary residences.
Let me call my
So you
son.
get, I don't know, presumably better interest rates or whatever. Can you imagine also lying for like 0.5% on your mortgage rates? Holy hell. How stupid you have to be. And it's not about stupid, it's not about money. It's about the principle of exercising your power to get the best deal possible. And saying, I got it because of my power. 3rd, 2025. Ethics complaint hits Senator Adam Schiff alleging mortgage fraud, voter fraud, and residency theft allegations against New York Attorney General Letitia James. Thedian. T-D-I-A-N. That's from an old skit of Saturday Night Live with Chevy Chase. Allegations merely the summary, in case you don't have time to read a 5-minute article. Shopping scandal that's sending shockwaves to Capitol Hill. You know why it's sending shockwaves to Capitol Hill? Because there are a shit ton of politicians who have probably done the exact thing. There is no question that this is not a 1 or 2 off, that you just happened to get Leticia James doing it. You just happened to get Adam Schiff for Brains McSchiff face doing it. They all do it probably. Get away with it because in the Trump, from which his political pig have been sucked. X complaint has been filed against U.S. Senator accusing him of a pattern of mortgage fraud, voter fraud, and unlawful campaign fraud stretching back over 2 decades. Initially filed October 2024. I didn't hear about it at the time. I'm hearing about it now. And I got a big fat mouth and a relatively large platform to put it on black and amplify. Initially filed October 16, 2024 by Christine Bish and Darren Ellis. The complaint demands urgent action by the U.S. Oversight Judiciary. It echoes growing calls for criminal investigation by the and the FBI. I can appreciate, you know, they've got the FD stuff, they've done some stuff, FD bags, shooting people, Washington, Adam Schiff's mortgage fraud is not high on the list. The police page Schiff may have violated Maryland code, whatever, California tax code, including statutes that mirror Letitia James. According to the complaint here, in 2009, Adam Schiff's residence and voting registration was called to question in a House Ethics Committee hearing. It goes back to 2009. Amazing. They just get away with it. Adam Schiff, despite claiming to live and represent the people in the state of California, filed a reaffirmed through refinancing documents. His primary residence was in Potomac, Maryland. Sorry. The complaint Adam Schiff thereby acknowledging the appearance of a possible mortgage fraud. You know who else just made the statement of a mistake? Letitia James. What happens if I press 2 here? Does this go on? Holy crab apples! I'm not going on for how many pages is this? 3? Well, that's going on with Schiff for Brains. It's the exact thing. They claim primary residence in more than one location so they can get better mortgage rates, so they can then represent people in a state where they wouldn't be able to necessarily represent them if they didn't have a primary residence, forgetting that they've declared a primary residence in another state. Did you all see Leticia James explaining away her patent fraud? Leticia James mistake fraud. She said it was a mistake on her filing document, that it was
All right, let's get by that.
For whatever reason, because again, we are talking about hypotheticals.
This is great
if
English.
The career Justice Department attorney says to me, "You do not have to recuse yourself," I'm not going to sit here today and say that I will still say I will.
Okay, well, I mean, that answers my question. You don't think it's a conflict of interest sufficient that you would here they tell me
That's
that
how
you
I said.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. I where we are.
The restraint that you have is really important. And that was completely lost. And Jack Smith is perhaps the worst offender, known as overcharging, known as somebody that was a henchman and was picked specifically to go do the bidding here. Was discussing
I am gravely concerned listening to your testimony, the degree to which you sound like you're still representing Donald Trump as his lawyer. Your criticism of the department, for example, filing a superseding indictment in the January 6th prosecution after a Supreme Court case so that the indictment would conform with that opinion, is the kind of objection I would expect to hear from a criminal defense lawyer, not the kind of statement I would expect to hear from a deputy attorney general. So let me just ask you, you have not been confirmed yet. Are you still Donald Trump's lawyer?
I mean, yes, my attorney-client relationship with President Trump remains. Yes. Cases I was representing him on, to the extent that there's anything going on, like the appeal in Manhattan, I'm not part of that.
But you're still representing him as you sit here today.
Well, I mean, representing him, there's no act matter. So,
but you're still his lawyer.
I have an attorney-client relationship with President Trump.
And even if you're confirmed and you're no longer representing him as a criminal defendant, even then you still have continuing obligations as a member of the bar, legal obligations to your former client, correct?
Yes.
Like everybody at the Department of Justice with every one of their former clients.
Correct.
Yes.
So you'd have a continuing duty of loyalty and confidentiality when it comes to his communications, correct?
Yes.
Now, Ms. Bondi, as Attorney General, one of her first acts established the Orwellian-sounding weaponization working group. In her memo, it says that the work of this
And you did the same shit under Biden. You did the same shit. Oh, I did. Damn, I deleted the wrong one.
Look how amazing this is.
Oh, remember when Trump showed all the illegals and what they did?
Trump, the White House, holy mackerel, I am loving this Armstrong right on the lawn, posting pictures in front of every single reporter now. These images of the Democrat voters, you could say, or the people that they support, the people they
Those are all the
because they don't defend
illegals
Americans.
and what the crimes they committed.
The backdrop, every single media personality and has to their daily see
Crazy.
an absolute master dragon chess master move.
This is Professor Nez. I love him.
Posting, thrown to the curb so you guys can get votes and retain power. Oh, these are the guys you protect? Well, guess what? We're going to shove it right into your face so you can see them.
City councilman, like your governor, their number one responsibility.
I'm trying to get to the Adam Schiff part.
For a stupid PR stunt and a photo to put on your X account. You can't stand for one of those things? And with people like crooked Adam Schiff, who demanded a full pardon from Sleepy Joe leading the way, it is almost impossible to reach their money goals. By the way, Schiff, 4 years ago, when asked by Joyless Reed, does getting a pardon issue you an admission of guilt? He said, yes, it does. Biden gave him a full pardon. So what do you have to say about that now, Pencil Dick? Trump continues, the USA is wise to these scoundrels and crooks. Also, why did the auto pen give Schiff a pardon? Biden knew nothing about it. Who operated the auto pen? That is the biggest question being asked in D.C. They almost destroyed our country. They should all be in jail. Now, call that what you will.
Facts.
But I am...
Facts. Okay, I'm gonna do this one, and he better come on. Why isn't this saying anything? Oh, I hate it.
So they created that whole thing against him, and Trump paid his lawyer money for doing legal work. They charged him with 34 felonies. 34, one for every check, which they claimed as their primary residence for home rebate that lowers tax burdens to residents. That's weird. How can you have two primary residences in two different states? Huh.
The SNAP program is a critical lifeline for tens of millions of Americans throughout our country, and specifically 2.9 New Yorkers. Every day, SNAP benefits make it possible for working families to afford to put food on the table.
Yep. So they created that whole thing against him. And Trump coup. Thank you, Mr. President, for saying that. My son did nothing wrong, knew nothing about the fictional story.
Let me
It
tell
was
you,
an
you need to
American
pull up.
tragedy. Now Shiftty should pay the price of prison for a real crime, not one made up by corrupt accusers.
Fact.
And in another post, right, Trump posted this. This is the actual document. Schiff is a thief. He should be prosecuted, said President Trump. Just like they tried to prosecute me and everyone else. The only difference is we were totally innocent. It was all a giant hoax. Now here's the actual affidavit. You see right there with pencil necks, disgusting signature, sloppy, just like his face in life. And he posted this in an affidavit made pursuant to the law. The undersigned makes this oath in due form of law and declares under penalties of perjury the following is true: that we are the original mortgagers of the deed of trust recorded at this property in Maryland, and that the mortgage property is our principal residence. Dun dun dun. Busted. The amount of the unpaid principal, $556,000. Nice spot back in 2011. Yeah, real nice spot now. Now $500,000 after Joe Biden's 4 years gets you like, I think you get like a shack at that, like at Lowe's. You get like a couple shacks probably and put those together. But Adam and Eve Schiff, I'm sure they just love that. They probably go to parties like, oh, Adam and Eve are here. Like, oh no, it's so good to be here. Ridiculous. But that is what Trump said. And now Carrie Lake is on to Gallego. And so there's more to this story. They say Fox News host Laura Ingraham also revealed that a criminal referral was sent over to the DOJ by Bill Pulte, who runs the Federal Housing Finance Agency, and it details this crime. Now, there's more to this because Ruben Gallego is also getting caught up. Now, the referral alleges that Schiff has in multiple instances falsified bank documents and property records to acquire more favorable loan terms. Remember, they took felonies for mislabeling a payment to Michael Cohen. Okay, like legal expenses, they said it wasn't, don't really know what it should have been. But paying his lawyer, they said was labeled wrong. Okay, so falsifying and committing fraud on business records. That's what they, and it was a misdemeanor, and they turned it into a felony.
Right.
So they could keep the statute of limitations going by saying it was in furtherance of another crime, which was to steal an election. Like it was in creating against him. And Trump paid his lawyer money for doing legal work. They charged him with 34 felonies for that. 34.
Yep.
Check. Not every check. Check, ledger. Okay,
Facts.
so when you write the check, someone marks it down in a spreadsheet. And then when you reconcile it, I think that's what it was. Check, ledger, maybe like your transmission, crime, multiple times throughout the year, 31 felonies. So how do you not charge it with one for property that say primary residence on them? The situation should seem familiar to Arizonans after another scandal emerged with the group Veterans for Arizona.
Facts. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Have a good one.